but the combatant is Obi-Wan.
Did you have one of those down there to play with?
Yes, we did.
Awesome.
And then last but not least, we have a refresh of the original dropship that we did. The original version was in red, and it was Clone Wars. This time we're doing a 501st deco scheme, but we've moved it over to the movie side of the line, and we're actually including a movie version of the pilot, as well as in the Battle Droid Episode 2 that you'll see, the red one. So that we've, with a simple deco change and a reworking of the characters, we have a whole new way to play with the vehicle.
I'm glad we're able to get the last one back out again. It's a really cool vehicle. It saw scanter distribution the last time it was out. It was produced in pretty small quantities just to get it out, one of those kind of last waves that we had. But I'm very thrilled to bring it back. So, Mark, on the MTT Droid Fighter, does it come with a miniature MTT? Is that what I'm looking at? Or is that the scale? It's like 10 times the size.
Right. The vehicle, well, you can actually fly in the vehicle. It's actually real person size there in that picture. But it just shows the smaller element. Just shows you the kind of relationship that the vehicle will have with the MTT toy. If I hadn't picked that up, I'd love to have a full size version.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Class 2.
Okay, Class 2, this is a brand new introduction for us. We're taking our classic signature vehicles and sort of reworking them. This will be at a lower price point, $20 price point, so it's a much more accessible price point. We have samples of these as well, so please come down to the showroom and we'll talk to you about these. They are smaller, but there's still 3 3/4 inch scale. We've simplified the construction a bit, to help us with that lower price point. But we've endeavored to keep the same detail that everyone expects to see in Star Wars vehicles. And even though they're a little bit smaller, I don't think they lose any of their playability. And the nice thing about it is that with the smaller scale, it makes them easier to play with. You can actually have the Jedi Starfighter chasing the Slave One and vice versa. Where I try to use the last Slave One I did, that's about like this big, it's kind of hard to handle 2 vehicles at once, but now you have a scale that's much more friendly, user-friendly, and hopefully something that really will allow a more complete play pattern to happen, and extend that and have a lot more fun.
It's really important for us to make sure that our vehicles are affordable to kids. So collectors are a very important target, and we'll continue with the higher end vehicles, the larger scale in the formats that we can. But for our main line, it's all about affordability. I mean, think back to the days when you were kids getting Star Wars figures. It was affordable to get a lot of them. And Star Wars is that kind of fantasy more so than any other, where you really need a lot of guys. I mean, we can probably sit here and name 15 or 20 800 characters that you need to have to complete the best battles, not to mention all the clones and stormtroopers. So a big focus for us is getting back to those affordable price points so parents can afford to get things for their kids. And the way that our current vehicles are going, the Class 2s, I mean, we're pushing $30 and more, just based on the cost that increase every year. So Mark, he's really understated the genius of these vehicles is keeping those iconic designs, adding in play features, and the detailed elements that still make them, great Hasbro Star Wars vehicles, down to $20 again to reset that. It's a pretty amazing feat for us. So when you actually see these, I hope you'll appreciate it for what they are, which is great kid toys that parents can afford to get. You want to say anything in particular about any of these 3?
Well, I will say that each of them, they do have projectile firing weapons, so you still have that nice battle play. The tank, you can actually have 2 clone troopers in there, so that's really cool, so you don't lose any playability there. And the Slave One is really cool. It's a Slave One. What can I say? It's Jango Fett, and and maybe eventually it'll be Boba Fett's, but that's one of my favorite vehicles, and it's really strange for me to look at the 3 different versions that we've done over the years. It's like, this was the baby one, and then we got the big one, and so it's quite an experience, and it's a challenge and a cool undertaking to be able to deliver, as Daryl mentioned, a lower price, which is really important, but you still want to deliver that iconic, and traditional play that we've always been able to do. So I think we've been able to pull that off. So please come down to the booth, and we'll have them out so everybody can take a look at them.
See for yourself.
Yep, see for yourself.
And next up, so this is book your tickets to Paris here, because this is going to be a really, really cool exhibition. So partnering with the sciencefictionarchives.com, with actually our Hasbro office, our French Hasbro office, there's a very special exhibition at the Louvre, so the Arts Décoratifs in Paris, part of the Louvre. They're really going to retrace the 35 years of the history of Star Wars toys as told by the Kenner and Hasbro archives. So I don't know how the folks there got so many of our archival samples, but I assume one at a time on the collector market is a world-class collection that's going to be on display in the greatest art museum in the world. So this is an amazing exhibition. And there'll be 400 toys, on exhibition. It's the collection of fans who assembled this, and it's going to be pretty amazing. It will run from October through March 15th. So book it now. We're very proud of this, and this is our contribution to pop culture. Mark, a lot of your work is going to be on display there. Prototypes, I'm sure we wish we had back, but
yeah, I recognize some of them.
But so this is amazing. So we definitely thank the folks at sciencefictionarchives.com to make this happen. It's very, very cool. And then let's take a look at some exclusives. Brian, you want to drive here?
Oh, sure, I think I can. We have a Night Sister, Sith Witch-ish kind of character, which we promised would come out, and well, there she is. And then we have the Darth Maul with the mechanical legs, and Savage Opress in the armored version, which I guess people have been clamoring for more of.
And we'll see this on shelf at Target in December. On shelf now.
Yeah, on shelf now. This is the Power Droid is one of my favorite pieces that I did, because I got to kind of make up the inside of it. So you can take off the lid of them and check out and see what's underneath. And Dave also was instrumental in sculpting this, and hopefully I wasn't too much of a pain in the butt.
No, it was, he's a block, but, he's an awesome boy.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, but, the thing with the old Gonk droid, it had that function in it, which was pretty neat. It was fun to make the legs move, but it was really difficult to get it to stand. So one of the things that we did with this was we got rid of that function, and we left the surprise, so you pull the top, but it's got added articulation. Who would think you could put articulation in a Gonk droid? But he's got a lot of articulation in the ankles and in the upper legs, so you can pose him out how you want him and get him to stand really nice.
All right, and the Death Star droid on this is the build version, and then it's the remainder of that 3-pack.
So these are in vintage packaging. So they continue that series that Target's had. I think these are the 9th and 10th.
I've lost count.
Yeah, so maybe 10th or 11th. You guys probably know better. But I have a question, Brian. The vintage Kenner Power droid was blue-gray.
It was blue-gray, and I hope I'm not going to take much flack for not doing the blue version, but a simple recoloration and
maybe down the road in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, possible. That's good. The next set in the same series.
Yeah, the Snaggletooth was kind of fun to do. We looking at all the various references of him from the.
Between Snaggletooth to Keel, and there's so many slight variations of this finale, so we want to try and match exactly as much as we could to that specific character.
And we knew we didn't want to do the track-suited version from the Christmas specials.
Yeah.
I love that tracksuit.
All right. Fighter Pod.
Oh, the Fighter Pod exclusive. Well, Eric didn't seem to be able to get the one of the most requested huts into his stuff, or we couldn't get it into the 3 3/4 inch line, so we were able to get him into this this wonderful tin. The Darth Maul in this tin is also different from the mainline Darth Maul in that he is completely metallic. It's pretty cool looking, if I don't say so myself.
So this set has been great to trick a lot of fan sites. Are you guys going to do Zero the Hutt? Yes. Yes, we will. But not the way you expect. I'm sorry. That's a cruel thing. Many people want to see Zero the Hutt as a 3 3/4 scale hut. But here he is. The only place for now is we can get Zero.
At least we can say we did it.
That wasn't really very funny.
The ATSD I went through quite a bit of pains to get this deco scheme as right as I could to replicate the walker. I believe it's Tempest 2 that is attacked by Chewie and a couple of little Ewok friends, right down to the scar in the front.
So this will be a Kmart exclusive for that now, and Kmart will also have 2 more very special sets that complement the ATSD.
It also went through a bit of a deal trying to get the Endor ATSD crew as right as I possibly could. The great thing about this is that they're both super articulated, so if you want to army build 8 deep, as some people do, ATSD crews, then you can do that.
And you know, this is this and the next set. I'll just go to the next set right there. So it's a companion piece. It will be in the assortment with the ATSD crew. Who are these guys?
This is Wonka and Whittle, and they are the 2 that are in the ATSD beating one of the drivers about the head with their clubs and axes. So between all these 3 sets, you can complete the entire scene of Tempest 2, and well, Chewie not included.
Now, we were faced with a choice with this set, and I think it turned out in a really great way. So originally, we were thinking that this would be one of the ultimate battle packs. So it would be kind of in a window box with everything in a complete set. It would have looked really cool, would have been great, but the folks we worked with at Kmart decided that they really wanted to do this in a vintage play. So basically, it enabled us to split into 3. The ATST by itself, which was great, and then find a new format. Luckily, we found that in the Vintage Heritage, looking through Steve Stanford's invaluable first figure book, we found an analog for that in the history where you can put 2 figures together and create a scene in a closed vintage box. So we said, look, it's in the spirit of vintage. Let's reintroduce this format and keep this going, just like we have with the 3-packs. And it seems to be a big success, at least from what we're hearing from fans. So this is a new model we hope to keep going. So when we say that vintage is going away, we really mean the vintage single-carded figures is going away. Vintage in a new form, whether it's 2-packs, 3-packs, or vehicles, will still continue on for the exclusive program we have, and wherever we find the opportunity to get it in. So vintage will still stay out, in this kind of spirit. And we certainly hope this 2-pack is a well-received format. We encourage everybody to go to Kmart, show your appreciation for it, because that will ensure that this continues. And we want to see more sets like this. The mind can just reel about the number of cool combinations and new figures we can have.
My favorite. The Ewok pack. I love this pack. I guess all I really have to say is Lisa.
Yay!
And she does have...
I'll give you a clap.
Thank you. We do have the Nisa figure. Leland, she did identify one of the on-screen Ewoks as Nisa and placed her at Braintree Village. And we've included her hat.
Her hooded cape.
Her hooded cape is from the cartoon, so you can definitely do that. And I think that's the one that everybody loves, but she was at Brightree Village, and I believe her hood is up in the upper right. So, and then also with Tippett, Tippett made 2 appearances in a Marvel comic, and one he has those really cool horns, and the other one he has a feathered hood, and we've done both of those. For Tebow, he appears multiple different ways, and we've been able to include both of his hats in this. So I hope you like this set.
Dave, you must have gone crazy sculpting all these.
Well, yeah, I watched the film like frame by frame, especially for Tebow, because I was trying to find the scene when he's wearing this hat. And then I kept discovering that there's actually 2 different scenes when he has the one hat and the other. And the primary scene that he's wearing, the one with the fangs and without the cowl, he wears that primarily throughout the whole show with their, they've got Luke and Han and everybody on the spigot and they're getting ready to cook them up. He's wearing that one. But then the scene when he surrenders, or when they're actually going to take the ATSTs, he's wearing the other one. So they switched it up a little bit when they're shooting the film, we noticed. So we want to include both sets.
Amazing set.
Let's see, well, most of these are first appearance guys, character debuts. The thing that I can say about Porkins is we were very careful to be true to the actor likeness and still get him to be able to fit inside the X-Wing. Yeah, Dave actually had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Porkins before his untimely passing.
Yeah, I met him back in at Indianapolis Celebration a number of years ago. So we had a little party afterwards, a little get-together where some of the actors were able to come, and I got to meet him, so that was a really nice experience. A very nice guy. So it was kind of a nice refresh to be able to do his character now, in relation to that.
Speaking of bike, a lot of people have asked me what's my favorite piece, or I guess before, since the ATST, which was my favorite piece, I think this one is, because we went through super great pains to try and get a screen accurate vehicle where the pilot won't come off unless you want him to. And I guess Dave almost probably killed me over the amount of changes that I had made on this. So.
Well,
I'm lucky to be alive.
It was a labor of love. I mean, as a kid, I had that toy, and I always kind of wanted to do one like it. And I mean, there's so many fun aspects about this, so many little hidden details that we put in it. I mean, obviously the large details, you lift up the front canopy, and you can see the jet engine essentially that's powering this thing. So that's kind of fun. Even underneath the little fenders on the back side, I always notice that, from the rear you can see this power plant or something that's riding on, but there's little slits in these fenders, and you look through those, there would be no detail. So we had a detail in there with this. The leg struts that he's standing on to power it up, they're clutched, so they'll remain in play where you want them. So if you set them down, they'll remain in the position, and they won't just flop out of the way. He does come with this added play value tripod that you can disassemble and reassemble in another configuration and snap it underneath it, so it's got a flight mode, and then you can take it out and battle people. And then the biggest aspect is the base that you can plug this whole figure on to achieve different flight patterns and how you can pose them out or display this character in mode. The biker himself on it has a little added articulation too, especially the neck, to achieve better, positioning while he's in the right.
So you can actually see where he's going.
Yeah, he's not looking at the ground.
That's why they kept running into those trees. The other thing that we listen to you guys when you talk to us, and one of the things that we made up, but it really helps the bike itself, is there's a little kickstand in the front. So when you put the bike down, it'll stay parallel to the ground, and the front is not resting on the ground, and eventually causing the struts to take a shape.
So it's an amazing piece, and Brian will be happy to demonstrate it. So we've got one out of the case down in the booth. It's completely mind-blowing.
Yeah, sure. If you want to come by, I'll let you play with it, and you can knock your socks off.
So look for that very, very soon. And then,
I'm just going to have to let Mark talk about this because I can't. If Mark is here, then nobody else can talk about it.
Well, I will say that it was an honor and a privilege to be able to work on the first one, or help, work on the first one, all the variations in between, and a few years back doing the brand new Falcon. So what Brian has done here is we've taken the existing Falcon, but as you can see in the photograph, we've added a contemporary twist to the classic vintage package. So actually I was called up one day and said, hey Mark, can you take a photograph of one of your vintage Falcons? Hopefully you still have one in the box. For some reason I still have one in the box. And I was able to take photographs of the packaging. And so our package department took all of the reference materials that I took from the package that I had, and then translated that into a contemporary version of that using the new product. So you have the same feel that you had in the original packaging, but with the new product, and it's really cool. Come down on the booth if you haven't had a chance to come down there. We have a sample of the Falcon, but then we also have the sample of the vintage box, and it's pretty impressive.
So the art director's son actually,
yes, that's
actually looked a lot like the original kid. So,
So for those of you who knew Dave Reeves, who was on the Star Wars team for a long time, he moved to another part in Hasbro. That's his son. So one of the final pieces he directed was his own son. That's a pretty cool.
Nice way to leave the brand.
Yeah.
Little legacy thing.
Kick him off. No, he's gone on to great things. One note on this. So the Millennium Falcon inside is exactly the same as the previous one that came out, the BMF, that this gentleman over here cited as his favorite toy. And we did that deliberately because we didn't want to, while the Millennium Falcon did change subtly from one film to the next, we didn't want to, basically make anybody have to buy a $150+ vehicle again for the subtle change. So literally it's the same Millennium Falcon vintage package. So if you want to have it in vintage package, now you can have it. But
And
don't feel compelled.
Right, if you weren't able to get it the first time around,
Right.
here's the best of both worlds.
Right, and this has been such a successful vehicle that this is actually its third release. So you may not know this, we keep releasing it. So this time we actually were able to put it in a different package. It's coming out. Ooh, what's this?
let's see. Well, it looks like we have indoor hat. What we've done with this is we've updated the colors, put the mud on the feet, and for better or worse, the driver is different. The Hoff driver has the white gloves, but it seemed to me that it would be really silly to have white gloves on a muddy planet. So I gave him black gloves. And then Jocasta. I guess Jocasta would be the fearsome Jedi Temple archivist. I also have her down in the booth, so if you want to come down and have a closer look at the figure, hold her in your hands. I guess most of the Easter eggs that I spoke about at Comic-Con have been kind of revealed. She has a force shush. She can get her hands right up to her lips, and she has two lightsabers, a lit one and an unlit one. She has her battle bag, and the Dooku bust. Underneath the Dooku bust, there is a hidden holocron cube. So come down and take a look at it.
And look for that at Brian's Toys. Definitely give them your business. Let them know that you fans who have kept Jocasta at the top of the fans' choice poll for the last several years, that you vote for that. That Brian's Toys stepped up and decided to really support her, and we're thrilled to give them really their first exclusive.
There's one more thing that I want to say about a lot of people have asked me a question about this, about her neck articulation. And what I wanted to say was usually I did not give her a ball neck because a lot of times when we do that, the portrait becomes distorted during tooling, and I felt that her portrait was super unique and very important to her. So I did give her her head is on the neck, so it's a single plane articulation for a better, cleaner, closer, more accurate portrait.
What's this?
I don't think I want to say anything about this. So the only thing I want to say about this is, well, I'll repeat myself. We've heard people talk about their love of vintage packaging, and we're going to continue to listen and make things happen.
If you haven't figured it out, yet we'll.
Geez, I wonder what shape that is.
Yeah, what shape it is. We'll have more details at Toy Fair. It should tell you everything else. So, hopefully, many requests will be answered. And that's it. Thank you. So, thanks for coming.
The force is strong with sandtroopers.com. Indeed.